Well, the test bench and repair bench is beginning to grow projects here. This one here, there's nothing wrong with it except for I want to see if I can put some weights on that front pilot so it doesn't jump track as quick. Have to test that Lionel transformer I just got. I don't know if it works or not. And some side rods for that pre-war 1666E. This one right here I want a quick look at just to see if I can figure out what's going on with it. And of course, this K-line right here is missing some side frames. So I got a project with that. I horse traded for that. I'm not sure why. I think I was taking pity on my son. There's no parts available for that stuff. So the question I'm going to have is, can I retro Lionel parts in on that? I think I can. I think I may end up having to go to PA, you know, the Alco PA style side frames versus the ones that really fit, and then just hope I can find some side frames over time. But kind of curious to see if that thing even runs. Yeah, these are like really, really complex side frames, and they're very, very brittle, very weak. So they're not going to last. So I got to come up with a plan C or D. I got one that's in pieces, and this one here that broke, where somebody picked it up by the trucks and just crushed it. But let's see if we have a running locomotive before I get all crazy. Yep, both axles go. E-unit seems to work. So I've got something to work with here. And, you know, if I can't figure out how to make this one go with alternative side frames, maybe I repurpose some stuff out of this thing. You know, it's a beautiful shell. So anyway, so this one right here, its boggle is side frames that are broke. Two of them. This is another Lionel. I don't really know what it has for motors. I don't know if it has can motors or some derivative of Pullmores. We'll see that in a few minutes. But it does not run, I don't believe. No, that's interesting. One truck runs, the other one does not. Well, that's a lot of junk on the inside of there. And it does have a pair of Pullmores, at least Pullmore styles, like the other one. Just one runs and the other one doesn't. So I guess we need to figure out why one does and the other one doesn't without messing up these cards. I wonder, hopefully it's something simple. Oftentimes it'll just be like in one of these wire nut connectors or something like that. One of the wires that are designed to feed that motor is not getting a good connection. So I think what I want to do before I go crazy on this is simply put a multimeter here and see whether or not power is getting to that motor. That's where we start. So, yeah, this one is getting voltage. It's just not running. So something about this has either got it locked up or it just simply won't run. This one here, it seems to work. It's got this funny little bump on the tire they both have. I don't understand that. It actually looks like it's designed and cast in. So I have no idea what that's about. They're supposed to have traction tires on top of that. What is that? Well, I did find a broken wire. Even though I was getting my voltage here, that means it was running through the motor. It wasn't running through the right side of the motor. It has to go through the brush, through the armature in order to get it to turn. So it could very simply just be this one wire. But there's a bunch of other stuff I found in here. This is definitely a cob together. I got a lot of work to do on this to get this right. That's glued on. It's not quite as nice as I thought it would be. But these are familiar, right? Those are familiar. So I'm going to get a little bit of oil in these things, I think, and see if we can't make this one run. I'm going to just solder this one wire onto this right here. Let me do that, and then we'll try and see again if we got two running motors. All right, let's give it a little bit of voltage and see whether or not we have two motors running now. Maybe like 5 volts. Okay. It's a pretty vocal locomotive right here. I guess I'm going to get a little oil inside of it and let's give it a test run and see if it actually pulls like those Williams that are a whole lot less complex. See, I still kind of like the vertical can motor versus these in terms of complexity. The thing is that I understand these, and these are maintainable. So there's an advantage to that. But that's an awful lot of stuff in there. And I don't know, but this is a SD60M 550. I do not know when this model was sold. I don't know. But it's got a lot of stuff in there. Switches and boards, a lot of stuff to fail. So let me get some oil in there and get the cover back on, or the shell back on. Let's see if it pulls cars. So I think I figured out what this bump tire is. There's a sensor down there. I wonder if it's magnetic. And I wonder if that has to do with its speed control of some kind. But a couple of things I see in here I don't like. Number one is the axles ride directly on the metal of the frame. There's no bushings. Even though they're large diameter like those, they're not riding in any bushings like the old 1950s era. Here, let me see what I mean. You see those right there? They have bronze bushings on either side. You don't have them in this one, not at all. So that's strike one. Strike two is all the bling on the inside. And depending on the material of these gears, if they're plastic, this is going to go right down the road. I'm not going to hang on to this one. I am not 100% pleased with the quality of that as compared to, you know, the trucks that I've been working on with Williams and MTH. I mean, look at this. This is a typical MTH or Williams. Those are solid metal. Very, very rugged. You know. And I mean, they're riding in a much wider bearing surface on these. So they don't need a bushing, where these are right on that thin sheet metal side frame. So if this is what Lionel's bringing to the table, I'm going to stick with my old Williams. But I will research and find out what year. They may have moved past this style of thing. That's a lot of complexity. You know. But let's get it together and see if it pulls cars, because that ultimately is the success or failure of these things, if they pull enough cars long enough to keep someone smiling. But there's absolutely no way in heck that that's going to last as long as something like that. Not happening. I'm going to leave that off. It was glued on. We're going to come back and revisit this. And this is loose right here. It's not broken. It's not cracked. It's just the glue is broke loose. So there's a couple of things about this design that are not making me happy. But we'll get into the details over time. But yeah, I got to come up with a way of fastening that. It looks like the glue just broke. But, you know, it should have screws, but it doesn't. Yeah, maybe a new part's in order. We'll see. All right, missing pilot. I think I can set it right in there with some glue. Let's see if it goes. And see whether or not that Pullmore concept, well, we already had one that works. See if this one works as well. Nope, something came off the track. I'll have to go see what that is. It required 10 volts, by the way, just like the other Lionel with Pullmore stuff. So what do I think about these? Both of them with the Pullmores. Man, there's a lot of plastic in there. And the design is a little more complex. I don't know what to think, really. I'm a little disappointed, actually. You know, like that way that's connected. The lack of bushings for those big, heavy axles. It does pull. It doesn't pull any better than my Williams. I guess my question is, was it all the cards, blings, and noise and stuff like that that made the Lionel more successful than the more basic and simple Williams? But one thing I can tell you, without a question in my mind, is that the Williams driveline is a lot more rugged than that Lionel. Not even close, of the same era. Not even close. Boy, it pains me to say that more than you can possibly imagine. And then K-Line, they came out with this stuff here. That's rugged stuff. You know, they blended with Lionel. You know, I don't know what era K-Line got quality stuff. I don't know if it was right before or during their Lionel collaboration, or was it what caused Lionel to crack down on them? They were coming up with better stuff for the same kind of price. I don't know. That's a history which somebody else will have to get into. But the one thing I do know is my old Williams SD45s and Trainmasters are a lot more rugged. They're simple. They may not make the same kind of noises and have the same number of lights, and certainly have less computer cards. But man, I'll tell you what, they pull, they run smoother, and they're going to last. I'm not sure that's going to last. You know, it obviously didn't already. Stuff is breaking off. You know, what do you say? But again, I think this is 1990s. I'm not sure. But you got to remember, and I will repeat, that while Lionel was selling this stuff here, moving off into sounds and cards and stuff like that, well, Williams was putting on, these.